What is going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with my Browns Packers Week 3 game preview as the Gauntlet continues for our 0-2 Cleveland Browns. As this week, they welcome the 2-0 Green Bay Packers to the Dog Pound. And you look at what the Packers have done so far this year. I mean, all they've done so far is go out and take care of business against two really, really good opponents in the Detroit Lions, who they beat 27-13, and the Washington Commanders, who, by the way, are coming off an NFC Championship game appearance. And the Packers beat them on Thursday Night Football last week, 27-18. And now they get to face off against a Browns team who, of course, week one should have beat the Bungles, but of course, our kicker decided to suck. And then last week against the Ravens, they essentially got dog walked in the second half. Yeah, talk about a tale of two halves. First half, our defense was holding its own against a really good Ravens offense. If only our offense even had a bit of a pulse, we might have done better. No, you figured the constant 3-and-outs and really the lack of any offense at all was going to come back to hurt this team. And in the second half, it definitely did, as the Ravens scored 31 points in the second half. And of course, at the end, the Browns did get a nice little stat pad touchdown from Dylan Gabriel to Dylan Sampson. And I knew right away when Dylan Gabriel led that touchdown drive, people were going to start saying, should we start Dylan Gabriel against the Packers? And of course, right away in his press conference, Kevin Stefanski came right out and said, Joe Flacco is still the starter. So all I'm going to say is this. Kevin and Tommy Rees better figure something out with this offense, because I swear to God, they're in the midst of, once again, wasting another really, really good defense. Like, you mean to tell me Myles Garrett backed off his trade request and signed that massive ass extension only to once again have another solid season of his wasted? He's off to a phenomenal start. He looks like a damn madman out there. 3.5 sacks in 2 games. Not too bad. Not bad at all. Of course, it's looking like it was a few years ago where we would be wasting constant elite performances from this defense, all because our offense had really no pulse at all. We're back to that again, I see, huh? All right. I'm sure at some point the offense will get it going. I'm sure there will be at least one game this year where the defense shows out and the offense does something and we end up winning just solely because of our defense. That'll probably happen at least once this year. But who knows when that'll be. And it's probably not going to be this week because, of course, you look at what the Packers are hacking on offense. Of course, Jordan Love at quarterback, Josh Jacobs at running back. They have 2 solid tight ends in Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. You know how we are with tight ends. Of course, it's been a tradition, right? But at receiver, they have Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs, who I honestly thought the Browns could trade for before the season. That obviously is not happening. And Dontavian Wicks. So yeah, good receivers, solid tight ends, and a damn good running back. But the key is, you look at their offensive line. Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Sean Ryan, and Zach Tom. Now, according to our lads, Banks and Tom are currently injured. We'll see how that goes throughout the week. But you look at who their backups are. I mean, they have Darian Kennard, Jordan Morgan, Donovan Jennings, and Anthony Belton. If you're Jim Schwartz and you got a guy like Anthony Belton, who's a rookie, going up against Miles, you try to take advantage of that matchup. You must. This is the game where Miles has to show out. Honestly, I think our defense has to force turnovers at some point. They have to. Because we've seen so far this year, our offense has turned the ball over, and the opposing offense turns that into points almost immediately. We got to stop giving our opponent short field, and we got to start doing it for our offense, right? Our defense has to do that for our offense. Give us a short field. Get a turnover. Heck, freaking get a turnover and score on it. You know, pick six, scoop and score. Block, punt, take it to the house. Something. Right? Damn. At some point, our defense is going to have to pull a Thanos and go, fine, we'll do it ourselves. If you ain't going to score, we'll do it ourselves. Yeah. Now, getting into this matchup against the Packers, starting off with the series history. Green Bay leads the overall series 14-7. Their last win, of course, coming, I believe, what was it, Christmas Day 2021, when Baker had that bad shoulder that he refused to sit out for. Yeah, freaking ruined my whole holiday. And of course, the Browns' last win in this series came all the way back in 2005. And it's crazy because back then, Brett Favre was starting for the Packers, and Trent Dilfer was the starting quarterback for the Browns. And again, just to tell you how long it's been, here's the players that caught passes for the Browns in that game: Steve Hyden, Reuben Drones, Antonio Bryant, Braylon Edwards, Dennis Northcutt, William Green, Frisman Jackson. And for the Packers, Donald Driver, Amon Green, William Henderson, Antonio Chapman, Robert Ferguson, Bubba Franks, Terrence Murphy, Tony Fisher, Vontae Leach. Wow. Crazy, right? That's how long it's been. The Browns won that game 26-24. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy, right? Now, of course, we have faced the Packers 4 times since that game. 2009, Browns lost 31-3. 2013, Browns lost 31-13. Of course, 2017, we all remember that game, right? Browns were winning most of the game, and then they choked it away. 27-21 in overtime, Packers won. I don't even think Aaron Rodgers played in that game because of his injury. Yeah, that's right. What was that? Hundley? Brett Hundley was the quarterback? Oh my God. And then, of course, 2021, Browns lost 24-22 on Christmas. Like I said, freaking ruined my holiday. It's crazy. This is probably going to be another ugly ass game, right? And I know you guys see the shirt, right? And for those wondering, yes, I did watch the game last night. And of course, it would end like that, right? Nick Chubb, big time, crunch time touchdown, followed by a Baker Mayfield legacy drive to go out and get the win on the road. How many times did he do that for us? I remember the year, can't remember exactly which year it was, where he had like several potential legacy drives at the end of games, and every time he would come up short. But yeah, that definitely hit me right in the feels, man, watching Chubb on the Texans. That one hurt the most. Because he wanted to be a Brown for his entire career. But I guess the Browns just couldn't trust his health. Coming off that gruesome knee injury a couple years ago, and then last year when he came back, he freaking broke his foot. He definitely isn't as elite as he used to be, obviously. Leg injuries take a toll on running backs these days. Just doesn't have that same burst that he had when he first came in, but he's still a freaking tank. Can't help but think. Imagine a three-headed monster in our backfield consisting of Nick Chubb, Dylan Sampson, and Quinshon Judkins. But again, Nick wants to be a bell cow back. He ain't trying to share a backfield with two rookies. It's just not him. He was fine when he had Kareem Hunt. That was like a thunder lightning type thing. If we didn't draft Quinshon, I bet you Chubb would still be here. But clearly the Browns just didn't trust his health. That's tough. So yeah, we'll see if the Browns are able to actually beat the Packers, which hasn't happened in a very long time, as you can see. Now, getting into my keys to victory. And yes, there is a chance the Browns can win this game. And that's mainly if they do the following. One, defense sets the tone. Defense goes out there and essentially does what they did against the Ravens in the first half. Right? Essentially shut down their offense. Right? If they do what they did against the Bengals in the second half, I think we have a great chance to win. That's going to be tough, though. Number two, the offense actually shows up because otherwise you'll get what you got in the second half last week. Defense just runs out of gas, and then the Packers just turn up and they run up the score. Yeah. Because, of course, the defense can only go so long. Number three, take care of the ball. And that coincides with number four, don't set the table for the opponent. You look at last week, the blocked punt turned into a touchdown. The interception turned into points. Of course, they had the scoop and score. The constant 3-and-outs. Our offense has been rarely in opposing territory this year. We need to stop doing these dumb things and stop with the mistakes and play sound football for 60 freaking minutes. And then we get to my player to watch, and I'm actually going to go on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to say the running backs. Because you look at the first 2 weeks, we've barely had a running game. Now, I mean, last week, our running backs showed a little flash here and there. Quinshon Judkins broke off a couple big runs, but that was really it. Jerome Ford is slow as molasses. I don't know why they still use him. I mean, heck, I'm thinking, we're going to see a lot of Dylan and Quinshon. We ended up getting whole drives of just Jerome Ford. It's like, what are we doing? Jerome ain't that guy. Stop using him. He stinks. If anything, he brings the offense down. God. We need more Dylan and Quinshon and less Jerome Ford. And I think if the running backs can get it going, that'll open up the play action game, and then the passing game will start rolling as well. That's another thing I've noticed. We haven't really seen much of the play action, let alone the play action bootleg. Remember how effective those plays were when Joe Flacco first showed up? Yeah, it was fun. Now, I believe that was the AVP offense, though, and Alex Van Pelt. Which, of course, he's gone now. We saw the garbage can that was the Ken Dorsey offense. And so far, the Tommy Rees-esque offense isn't any better. We'll see if things change as we get into the season. Now, as far as my prediction goes, you guys are probably going to hate me. But once again, I'm going with the Packers. 27-21. Defense will keep us in this game for as long as they can. But of course, the offense just still won't be able to do much. I don't even know if we can stop Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary. Those two might be living in our backfield this week, especially if Jack Conklin isn't ready. And we'll see about Dewan. They were out here freaking rotating him on and off the freaking field because of heat, which I get. You don't want to mess around with heat exhaustion, but come on, dude. He seemed fine during freaking July during training camp. Now all of a sudden, it's too hot for him. That's why they say, keep hydrated. Freaking Denzel Ward left the game last week due to cramping. Like, what is it? What is the mental lapse when it comes to staying hydrated? Come on. What are we doing here? Damn. Like, it's going to be humid and hot on the field. Stay hydrated. Damn. What's so hard about that? Freaking crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this one. And we'll see what happens. So with that being said, I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go Browns. Don't embarrass yourselves this week. And I'm out. By the way, for any degenerates who want to bet on this game, the spread as of right now is -7.5 favoring the Packers. And for anybody who wants to pick the Packers in the survivor pool for the Sports Fury on Sleeper, I warn you right now. I mean, you can still pick them, but that's at your discretion. Just saying, the Browns don't make any sense. They would 100% win this game because that's what they do. It makes no sense, right? Nobody's picking them to win. So, of course, they're going to go out there in front of the home crowd and somehow pull a win out of their ass. Because that's what they do. They're either going to win this game very grimy and by like a field goal, or they're going to get their butts blown off. No other way around it. So, with that being said, I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go Browns. And I'm out. Bye-bye.